Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, then welcome. And if you're new, then welcome as well. If you have not been to my channel before, this is where we talk all about having a female boss mindset. We talk all about how to build a boutique, how to make passive income, how to invest. We motivate each other, and we're just basically the boss babes. So again, welcome. I hope you find the content here helpful. Without rambling too much, let's just get started. So today I'm going to be telling you how to start an online boutique with $500. And as crazy as it sounds, a lot of people do it with less and a lot of people do it with more money. But $500, it's a good and safe budget for a lot of people. So I'm going to be taking you through that. The first thing we're going to do is pick a niche. And the reason why I say this is so important is because if you start doing fast fashion as your first type of clothing store, then it's going to be really hard because fast fashion is constantly changing, the trends are always new, and you're going to have to keep up with new releases frequently. And as a new boutique owner, you're probably not going to have that kind of cheddar to start out with. So do not go with fast fashion or with something that's seasonal, such as Halloween clothing or swimwear or things that kind of come and go, because in that you're not really going to have consistent sales. So pick a niche such as clubwear, lingerie, luxury basics, streetwear, urban wear, athletics. There's literally probably at least 10 different fashion niches that you can pick from. So with that being said, you want to go ahead and pick a niche. So the other thing I want to say is when you're starting out with getting inventory, you want to start with between 5 to 10 pieces. I say 5 is the minimum because I strongly recommend that you start with at least one of each item. So one set, one dress, one top, one bottom, and maybe one romper. That way you can kind of test and see what your customers like. So for example, if you sell out of all of your dresses on the first day, then you know, okay, I need to go and buy more dresses. This is what my customer likes. I say no more than 10 because first of all, it is a lot of content to shoot. And when you're first launching your boutique, you really want to focus in on dropping one collection, and you don't want to be overwhelmed with all of the content that you have to shoot, all the pictures you have to get, all of the inventory you have to organize. So I say stick between 5 to 10 styles when you are first launching. And real quick before I move on, if you're going to be doing 10, then you want to have at least 2 different colors of each style. So for example, black and white, or black and red, or black and brown, black and pink. Feel free to customize your color choices to your brand and to your target audience. But just as a tip, black always sells out first. So there's just a little small tip for you. And also have pairs. So if you're selling a top, make sure you have a matching bottom to go with it. A pair of jeans or a matching skirt, matching joggers, matching shorts, something like that. So that is what I have for you as far as starting out with the inventory and picking out what niche you're going to be starting with. So the next thing I want to get into that's going to help you with your budget is to figure out your audience, because an 18-year-old is not going to have the same taste as a 40-year-old, for example. You want to know what are their hobbies, what do they do, what kind of jobs do they work, what other stores do they shop from. I have a video actually where I talk about creating a target audience persona, and you basically want to create this for your boutique so you can know your customer like it's your best friend. And that way when it comes to marketing your item and advertising, you're not going to be spending as much money targeting irrelevant interests or irrelevant age groups or people who in general just won't buy from you. So figuring out your niche and figuring out your target audience is going to help you so much in saving money on buying the correct inventory as well as running the correct ads. The next thing you're going to want to do is to figure out what do you need to spend your money on and what would be nice to spend your money on. So for example, I always say that necessities are to have a host, to have a domain, to have inventory, to have a small budget for marketing, and the nice to haves is something like having somebody create a logo for you, a professional photographer, paid models, somebody who builds your website for you, a professional email address. Those are all things that are nice to have, but when first starting out, you can definitely cut down on some of these expenses and really narrow down on what you need to spend on and what would be nice to spend on. That's gonna be the third thing that you're going to do. So now we're getting more into the actual process of how you would start a business with $500. And one of the first things you're going to want to do is check and make sure that the name you want to use is not already trademarked and it's not anywhere on social media. So if you go to the government website to check for trademarks, you can look up and see if anybody has already used that name for their business. And if they have, then you have to change it, because otherwise you're gonna get someone knocking at your door telling you that you cannot use that name. So make sure the name is not trademarked, one. And 2, make sure somebody else is not already using it on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, whatever you're using. And then once you figure out your name, you want to go ahead and start setting up your social media channels. You want to go and purchase your domain. And the one thing you must do, at the minimum, a personal Facebook. You don't have to go all out and deck it out. You can literally just have your name, just some picture of you that doesn't even show your face, and that's good enough. The reason why you need a Facebook is because you need a Facebook account in order to have an Instagram business account. You also need a Facebook account in order to advertise through Facebook to Instagram later down the road. So make sure you do create at least a personal Facebook. That way you can link it to your business Instagram down the road, as well as install your pixel and all that stuff. So now that you've checked that your brand name isn't taken, now that you've gotten your domain, your social media accounts and all of that, now it is time to create your logo. And you can use Canva to create a free and easy logo. It's basically just a really easy, free way to use Photoshop, and a lot of people start out this way. My logo is very basic. I will show it here, and I'm pretty sure the person I paid to do it probably used Canva. So you can definitely do it by yourself. You don't have to pay somebody to do your logo for you. And there's actually a very easy way to find out what kind of fonts your competitors are using. So for example, if we go to Pretty Little Thing here, you can actually just go ahead and go up to the logo here and right click it and hit inspect element. And if you go down here and look, you can see that the font family they're using is Super Grotesque, Helvetica, Arial, and Sans Serif. So now knowing that, I can use those in my logo as well and make one similar. Same thing with Fashion Nova. So if you go to Fashion Nova's website, you can go ahead and right click on their logo, hit the inspect element, and now you can see that they're using the Proxima Nova font as well as Arial and Sans Serif. So I just like to put these into my notepad so I can kind of figure out what kind of fonts my competitors are using and make my own logo out of that. So now for example, you can go to Canva, and I already have some of these fonts installed, but if you want to install it, it's super easy. Just look up how to install fonts to Canva and you should see from there. I'm just gonna change this to black real quick, and we're going to do, oh, I don't have that one. Okay, I have something Nova. Okay, so I remember Pretty Little Thing, they have Helvetica. And let's say, I don't know, we want to call it Stassia V Apparel. We can do Stassia V, and then we can just add a white line here and do something like this. So you saw how easy that was. I literally have a clothing logo in like 2 seconds, and it wasn't hard, it didn't take long, and it was free. So then you're just going to save it as a PDF, and then you can remove the background and all that good stuff later down the road. So that's it, guys. That can definitely be your logo just to start at least. If you do not want to create your own logo, or you think that your content creation skills aren't very good, and you can always hire somebody super cheap on Fiverr. They range from $5 to $25. You can honestly get a really good logo just off of Fiverr. I personally hired somebody and paid them $70 to do mine. Now that I know that it could have just simply been made by using the inspect element tool, I probably won't be hiring anyone else to do it anymore. So yeah, that is how you can create your own logo for free and for really cheap and still make it look good. Make sure you use either white or black. That way it can go well with banners, hang tags, clothing labels, and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that is it as far as creating your own logo. Okay, so next, I'm going to be talking about getting the money for your store. So of course you can use the $500 that you saved up from work or from side hustling or whatever you do, but there is also a way to do it that's a bit cheaper than the traditional ways that people won't really tell you about. And that is having pre-orders on your website, as well as talking to your suppliers and seeing if they do drop shipping. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe Lux LA does drop shipping. Don't quote me on that, I have to double check. Sorry guys, my battery just randomly died on me. But what I was saying was that Shopify has plenty of apps that have a free as well as a paid version of them. And while the free one is limited, it usually is enough to just get you started. So there's an app called Global Pre-Order, I think. And they basically will allow you to have a pre-order page for your store. And before installing any Shopify app, you can actually click View Demo Store and it'll show you what it would look like on a real store. So this is what it would look like if you have this app. In my opinion, this looks great. So basically what it does is it places the buy now button with a pre-order button, and it also allows the customer to make a partial payment, which I believe you can set that way you don't lose out on any money. So there's Globo, which is awesome. When you scroll down and look at the pricing, it will tell you what the free version offers as well as what the paid version offers. So that's that. I would highly recommend getting a pre-order app and doing pre-orders. That way you can get the money first before you have to go and purchase the inventory. And then second thing, like I said, is to ask your suppliers if you're drop shipping. What drop shipping basically is you only pay for the inventory when the customer places the order. So basically when the customer buys your item, only then will the supplier charge you for it, and most of the times they can ship it out for you as well. So you can do that. You can ask to drop ship as well as doing pre-orders. And if you're scared about doing pre-orders, like what if the supplier runs out of this item? Well, you can always send an apology email to your customer with a coupon, but at the very least, you are not wasting your money on dead inventory that you don't even know will sell. And this is also a great way to test what your customers like and what they don't. So yeah, take that tip and use it. I want to talk about building your store. A lot of people say you need to pay for a website designer, but I'm here to tell you that you do not need to pay for somebody to make you a theme. Shopify has plenty of free themes that look bomb. My favorite one is personally Boundless. There's also Brooklyn that's really good, Debut that's really good, as well as Narrative if you know how to change it up a bit. So I'm gonna teach you another little trick. If you go to a website that you really like that's hosted by Shopify, which most of them are, you can go and actually do the same thing and inspect them. So let's use Gia Monet Boutique, for example. So if you go to giamonetboutique.com and you look through it, you really like their theme, you can actually just right click on it and hit inspect element, and then Command or Control F and type in theme. And I want to say about 4 matches down or so, it should tell you what theme they're using. You might have to look sometimes, some people have it farther down than others. You can see here that she's using the theme Debut. Now, just keep in mind that bigger companies like Fashion Nova and Pretty Little Thing usually have a custom made theme, and unfortunately you won't find out what exactly they use. But for smaller boutiques, which a lot of them don't have a custom theme, you can do it this way and you can find out what kind of theme they're using and kind of mock it in a way. So now I want to talk about marketing to your customers. You want to be very specific about who you are targeting to. And this is why earlier we were talking about picking your audience as well as picking your niche. Take for example, Skims. So Kim K, she has a clothing line that's very basic, it's very slim fitting, very simple, but a lot of people buy it because it has something different. You're not just buying a regular black t-shirt, you're not just buying regular black shorts. You're buying something that's going to make you feel good, make you look good, and make you really feel like expensive. It is a brand. It's going to give you that feeling. It's going to give you that experience. This dress I saw on Instagram the other day has completely sold out. Is it something a lot of people would wear? Probably not. But this boutique clearly has a market for it. They have a niche, they have a target audience that likes that kind of stuff. So don't be scared to pick something that's not as common, because there's literally a market for everything. As far as marketing, social media channels work very well, of course. We all know now that TikTok is growing fast and they're exploding, and they are really causing some businesses to make sales without spending $1 on advertising. So when you're getting your inventory, also keep in mind that it has to be something that you can make content out of. And you want to just in general make sure you have a good ring light. If you can't afford a nice camera, at least have a phone that can take good quality pictures. Buy a nice background. If you have nice floors, you know, you can use that. You can use a nice table. You can buy that little wrap that goes on top of countertops for apartments and use that. Make sure you basically have marketable inventory as well as the tools needed to create good content, because without content, your clothes is not going to sell. I want to touch down on text message marketing. The reason why I say that this is one of the really good ways to market your website, somebody with a low budget, is because with text message marketing, you're not going to be paying for any kind of marketing unless that text sends to the buyer. And then you have a potential conversion there to have somebody go and buy it at your store. Whereas with email marketing, how many people delete their emails every day? You know, Facebook ads, how many people just keep scrolling through their ads? But if you get a text message, that person's always looking at their phone. So an app that I recommend is called SMS Bump. They have personally been a beast for me. They have really easy to follow automations that can help you capture customers really well, and they have an easy setup for the pop-up screen for your store. I would recommend getting into text message marketing and then possibly email marketing if you're comfortable with that, but I would say start with text marketing at the very least. A couple of other things that you should know is when you're checking your business name, make sure that you are checking the entire name as well as any words that are commonly used. So in my instance, the word baddie is very heavily used in the fashion industry, so I had to make sure that my name as well as the actual word baddie was not trademarked before I could use this name. Now, unfortunately, I'm still fighting a case with my lawyer about getting my name trademarked because apparently somebody trademarked the word baddie as itself, and now a lot of people aren't able to use it for their fashion business. So that's one thing, make sure the whole sentence is not trademarked as well as any common words in your name. The other thing that I forgot to mention, and I have a video on this, is apply for a seller's permit. Because without a seller's permit, you're not going to be able to even log in to view wholesale prices. So the fact that you won't even be able to log in, you can forget about purchasing inventory. If you don't have your seller's permit or you haven't already done that prior to opening up your store, you need to go do that. It needs to be one of the first things that you get done. Do it in your free time, do it during break, do it whenever. It's really easy and it's free. Oh my God, guys, I am so thirsty today that I literally had to go get an electrolyte tablet because it's just one of those days where water is not cutting it. Like, do you ever just have one of those days where water is not quenching your thirst? Anyways, so as I was saying, other thing that you absolutely need to do is to open a business bank account. And the reason why this is important is because when you start making a lot of money consistently on your boutique, the banks are going to think that you are money laundering. And there's a high probability that they may not release those funds to you until a full investigation has gone through. So to avoid this, I would definitely open up a business checkings account, and you don't need an LLC or anything for that. I was able to bypass it by signing up with PayPal and providing my seller's permit as well as Form 1583 that I got from the post office to prove that I have a business and that I'm not just trying to money launder. That's all they really care about. They just care that you're not trying to fraud anyone or steal any money and that you're doing fair business. So I would recommend trying to at least sign up for a business account through PayPal. I have had one for almost 3 years now and I've had 0 issues. So that's all I have to say as far as the extra things to know. Shut up. Oh my God, this thing is still making noise. I'm so sorry. I want to talk about mindset. So this is going to be the last portion of this video, but it is going to be one of the most important sections because if you don't have mindset, you're not even going to get a quarter of the way through this. If you're doubting yourself and thinking you can't do it because there's so many boutiques, there's so much competition, I'm here to tell you that we all have something a little bit different. Why do you think there's a Walmart down the street from a Target? Why do you think there's a Dollar Tree down the street from a Dollar General? Because we all have something different. One person may prefer to shop at Target and one person may prefer to shop at Walmart, but both are basically the same thing. So many gas stations next to each other, so many food chains. I've said this already and I'm going to say it one more time again, but there's literally a market for everything. Do not worry about not finding your target audience. Do not worry about not having anything to sell because there's always a group of people who have a particular taste who will only purchase from you because they can only find your items there. So do not worry about that and just keep your head up. And last but not least, don't give up. There are going to be some days where you don't see results. There's going to be some days where you're moving slow. Maybe when you're first starting out, your launch didn't go as anticipated. That's okay, just don't give up. Keep trying new things, be open to new lessons, and always remember that if you have truly tried everything, then something will eventually work out for you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and I hope you guys have learned some really good things in this video. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for weekly content on how to start your own business, how to make passive income, entrepreneurship, investing, all that good stuff. And thank you guys again. Appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!